Ever wonder how doctors solve a medical mystery inside the human body? Well, when it comes to a heart attack, the body leaves its incredible trail of chemical clues right in the bloodstream. Today, we're going to put on our detective hats, follow that trail, and crack the case.
So, here's how our investigation is going to play out. First, we'll check out the crime scene, what's actually happening inside the body during a heart attack. Then, we'll uncover the chemical clues left behind. After that, we'll interrogate the key molecular witnesses, build a timeline of the evidence, and finally see how it all comes together for the doctor's final verdict.
All right, every good investigation starts at the scene of the crime, right? So let's dive in and see what exactly is going on inside the body during this kind of medical emergency. I mean, we've all heard the term heart attack a million times, but what does it really mean on a biological level? What's actually happening in there? Let's break it down.
It's really a dangerous chain reaction. It usually starts with plaque building up in the arteries over years. If a piece of that plaque suddenly breaks open, the body tries to fix it by forming a blood clot. But that clot can become a total blockage, a dam in the artery. This completely cuts off blood flow, starving the heart muscle of the oxygen it desperately needs. That critical state is called ischemia. The official fancy medical term is myocardial infarction. And let's focus on that last word, infarction. It just means tissue death. When those heart muscle cells are starved of oxygen for too long, they start to die. That process is called necrosis. And here's the crucial part. That damage is irreversible. And that's exactly why getting a diagnosis right and fast is so incredibly important.
Okay, so the damage has been done inside the heart, but how does this emergency, happening right in the chest, send out a chemical SOS that a doctor can pick up from a blood sample taken from your arm? This is where the real detective work begins. Yeah, this is the central puzzle we need to solve. How does damage in one very specific spot leave a trail of evidence that spreads through the entire circulatory system? How does that work? Well, it's actually pretty dramatic. When that ischemia leads to cell death, to necrosis, the walls of the heart muscle cells literally break apart. They rupture, and everything that was inside of them, all those specialized proteins and enzymes, just spills out and floods into the bloodstream. Those escaped substances, those are the biochemical markers. They are the exact clues we're hunting for. So, to put it simply, a cardiac marker is the fingerprint left at the crime scene. By measuring how much of these specific substances are in a person's blood, doctors can confirm that yes, damage to the heart muscle has definitely occurred. All right, so now we know what we're looking for. It's time to bring in our key witnesses for questioning, the specific molecules that tell the story of exactly what happened inside that heart. In our lineup of suspects, there are two main players. First, you've got the old-school veteran detective, CKMB. He was the go-to marker for years. And then you've got our new star witness, troponin, which has totally become the modern gold standard for diagnosing a heart attack.
So let's take a look at troponin's profile. It shows up in the blood a few hours after the event, but its real superpower is that it sticks around. It can stay elevated for a week, sometimes even longer. That's so important for people who might not realize they need to go to the hospital right away. But even better, it's highly specific to heart muscle. If troponin levels are high, doctors are almost certain the heart is where the damage is. And get this, the level of troponin in the blood is directly related to the size of the heart attack. And in this investigation, the whole case can come down to a single number. For one type of this marker, troponin I, a level greater than 0.2 nanograms per milliliter is considered the smoking gun. It's a clear quantitative sign of a myocardial infarction. Now let's talk about our veteran witness, CKMB. Its main drawback is that it's not very specific. A severe injury to any large muscle, not just the heart, can raise its levels, which can really confuse the investigation. But it has one very unique skill. Because it disappears from the blood in just a couple of days, a new spike in CKMB is a huge clue that a second, separate heart attack has just occurred. And finally, let's talk about the first responder on the scene, myoglobin. This guy is fast. I mean, it shows up almost immediately, within 1 to 3 hours. Now, just like CKMB, it isn't specific to the heart, but its speed is its superpower. If a patient comes in with chest pain and their myoglobin level is totally normal, it's a really strong sign that a heart attack is not what's going on. It's an amazing tool for ruling things out quickly. So we've met our witnesses, but any good detective will tell you the timeline is everything. It's not just what clues appear, but when they appear and disappear. That helps doctors piece together a much more accurate story of what happened and when.
This timeline really tells the whole story. You see myoglobin shoot up first, but it's also the first to leave, gone within a day. Then CKMB and the troponins appear, but look at how long they stick around. CKMB is gone in a few days, while troponin T can linger for up to 10 days, maybe more. This distinct pattern of rise and fall for each marker gives doctors this incredible, dynamic picture of the event over time.
All right, the blood work is in, but a good detective knows that's just one piece of the evidence. Now it's time to assemble the entire case file and deliver the final verdict.
And this is maybe the most critical takeaway of all. A high troponin level, all by itself, does not equal a heart attack diagnosis. It's a massive clue, but it's just one clue. It has to be corroborated with other evidence, like the patient's symptoms and the electrical readings from an ECG.
So the official diagnosis is like a 4-part confirmation. You need 1, that classic rise and then fall of the cardiac markers, especially troponin. 2, you need the clinical symptoms, like that severe chest pain. 3, you have to see new changes on an ECG that indicate an injury to the heart. And sometimes, 4, you even get imaging that shows you the damage directly.
So by assembling all these puzzle pieces, the chemical clues from the blood, the patient's own story, and the electrical evidence from the ECG, doctors can finally solve the medical mystery. They can confirm that a heart attack happened, get a good idea of how bad it was, and get the patient started on the best possible road to recovery. So you see, these chemical fingerprints, they don't just solve the mystery of what happened in the past. Because the amount of troponin released is tied directly to the amount of heart muscle that was damaged, these markers also help predict the future. They give doctors powerful insight into a patient's long-term prognosis, turning a story about a past event into a roadmap for the recovery that lies ahead.